Hey everybody, it's another week. We've made it at the Spectrum Sanctorum. We are shedding light on episode 3 of The Last of Us. Of course, I'm Brandon, that's Joe, and we've got a special guest, my buddy Dax from the Last Respawn page on Twitter. How you doing, Dan?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me on.
Man, I'm good, Dax. I'm good, Dax. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. Minus the skeevies that I get from watching this show. Otherwise, I'm great.
Hey, look. I understand we got a lot of spores growing out of things, and we're gonna get to that. We of course have our character spotlight later on, and we have our gross out moments, and I have some fun questions for our guests. Just initial reactions. Dax, another big episode. How'd you feel about it?
Wow. I think this, for context, I'm kind of weird when it comes to video games when they become live adaptations. To me, I would prefer if they take that energy and make more stuff for the video games, especially if they're redoing the same storyline, which we're going with the first episode, but episode 3 is where they dropped something that was not in the game at all, and I'll touch more about that later. But it was truly something. It was The Last of Us up, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Hey, we definitely got some what felt like DLC content learning.
Yeah, we got a whole extended sequence.
Yeah.
We
got a lot more of it was really a Bill and Frank centric episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that was super cool. It's a big stray from how it was perceived in the games. Joe, how'd you feel going into this very heavy emotional episode?
So it was always alluded in the game about this, but they never really went anywhere with it. So that was pretty interesting. But what really got me was the preparedness and I'm going to call him Ron Swanson because he's always going to be Ron Swanson.
It's hard to say that he wasn't even in this.
Yeah, because it was still like, I like my potatoes and steak and bacon, but we always joke about those guys that are preppers, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were right. You know what I mean? Like the end of the world did come. I was prepared. Here we are. You know what I mean? Don't laugh at them. Those guys might be onto something. And obviously Ron Swanson was.
Yeah.
I was definitely feeling the Ron Swansonness of it all, because when he drove off to Home Depot, I was not expecting him to actually go to Home Depot. I was expecting him to go to Things and Stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's where he gets all his things and some of his stuff. So that's what I was expecting. And I was like, wrong show.
They got that HBO money, they
splurge
for Home Depot.
Yeah.
So it was super cool being able to see.
He should have went to Lowe's. He probably would have got better deals. F the Home Depot.
Well, we gotta ask Stephen King if there's even a Lowe's or a Home Depot.
Yes.
That 10 miles from Boston, but that's
10 miles west of Boston. Apparently, it's the Adirondacks somehow.
Yeah.
So a very brief synopsis, because I tend to get carried away. The last couple of episodes, we went through every single moment of the show, and our podcast ended up longer than the show itself. So, and I'm not gonna say that we won't still be just as long this time around, but there's some cool things I want to talk to our guests about. And so we're gonna try and speed things up, just for the sake of that. So this week's episode focused a lot on relationships and what's worth fighting for, I think, is the best way to kind of sum it all up. We are still coming off of the death of Tess. And it was heartbreaking for Joel, who doesn't even want to really be with Ellie in the first place. But
for me too, because I miss Tess.
yes. Hey, look, Agent Dunham will always be in my heart.
Agent Dunham, number one.
Yeah,
but
Joe doesn't want to be with his emotions at all, and that's I mean, that's something that was in the game too, and I think a lot of people that play the game, they were very like, oh, this guy's so cool, he doesn't care about his emotions. You're totally missing the point. It's like that he needs to deal with this, and you saw at the beginning with that scene there with the little rock pile, that little kind of, I guess, funeral he did for Tess there. It looked like.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely I was still waiting for a kind of outlet, even towards the end of the episode, where it looked like he was going to scream. Like he leaves Bill and Frank's house at the end, and I
Yeah.
thought I was going to get just some sort of primal roar
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
emotion. And even then, it was just very contained. You know, there was no sounds. It was just, and sometimes life really is like that. You know, you just
Mhm.
go and you spin around, and you're literally looking for answers that can't actually be in front of you, and then you just walk back into the house and deal with life as it comes to you.
Yeah.
That said, I already mentioned this is a very Bill and Frank centric episode.
Yeah.
The themes are still the same. You know, we're still talking about relationships and what's worth fighting for. Bill is a guy who looks like, well, it doesn't look like he was by himself until he himself found someone to fight for in Frank. Can you, Dax, tell me about Bill in the game and how he compares to how he is in the show?
You get a lot more here with Bill, and especially their relationship with Frank. Honestly, I had to look it up because I was just like, I don't remember a lot of this. And I was like, I remember
Yeah.
he was like a prepper. He set up traps.
Right.
There, he
Right.
helped us. He saved us.
Right.
And I went back and looked, and I was like, their relationship was, I don't know how else to say, a fart in the wind in the game.
Yeah.
You blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
And like it's not even like spelled out to you like 100%. It's like he refers to him in his, and you find Frank dead in the game. He hung himself because he got infected, and Bill is just like, oh, he was my partner, you know. But that's it. They don't
Yeah.
go
It was
further.
very vague. There wasn't
Yeah,
really.
it's very up in there. Then if you find the letter, and that's something I want to touch about later on when we get to the letter, because that's a very key story point in the series itself. Is the documents and the letters you're found. They're so well written. The short stories in the game themselves. I feel like what you're getting with the past 2 episodes with like the opening scenes could be like something you would read in the game. So I mean, what they know with Bill is a lot more. And this episode probably won me over as like, okay, now I'm gonna watch the rest of the show if you give me more DLC, if you give me more context to these characters, you know? If you
Right.
don't hit but I'm gonna tell you right now, Joe got the pickup truck, and if you play the game, you know he's gonna hit someone with that pickup truck, and it's gonna be a very epic scene in the show. So I'm excited if they do that.
Hey, you got a fan there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not controlling that, Brandon.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't know
me.
what's going on.
That was me.
Hey, Sneaky. Yeah, he's one of my OG fans. Welcome to the show, buddy.
No, thank
And
you for joining us.
And my
Thank you.
co-host from Captain's Quadrant, Nita. What's going on, buddy?
Nice to see people joining us on the stream.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We see Joel and we see Bill. Joe, what do you think about these two as, I don't know, as equals, so to speak? You know, I feel like, again, I'm jumping ahead, but this is just for the sake of the conversation. We see this almost like tea party. It's not a tea party. It was more like a wine party, just a little
Yeah.
cocktail party,
A little cocktail sip.
little. And we see Tess and Frank, you know, kind of as like parallels, and then on the other end, the other parallels are Bill and Joel. What did you think about them two and their relationship? Because they weren't exactly friends, but they did share a bond, so to speak. So what did you think of them, Joe?
Well, the way he stumbled upon him by, his traps working was the best way to meet somebody. It's like a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, like
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about Frank yet. Frank and Bill. I'm talking about
Oh, you're
Joel.
talking about Joel. Yeah, Joel and Bill.
Joel and Bill.
Yeah. What did you think about them?
It was an uneasy alliance because I felt
Yeah.
like, Tess was the one that knew them, and he got invited over, and Bill was like, "Oh man, I don't want anybody else coming over because then like I got to make more food." And I felt like he was the prepper that was like, "Okay, we should be 70, and then this is when our food is going to run out. So anybody that comes over is going to like skew that data, and it's going to mess it up for us. And I really don't want to like have to go beyond my scope in order to get more resources. And I really appreciated that. I'm not a prepper, but like I get the mathematics behind it, the logistics. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you, Bill. Like, that's right, Ron. There's only but so much bacon.
I brought them up first, kind of because I wanted to get them out of the way.
Okay.
But you hear the phrase, or at least I've heard the phrase. I shouldn't assume that everyone's heard the phrase that if you meet yourself, are you sure that you're gonna actually like yourself? And I'm not saying that Bill and Joel are identical, but they represent kind of similar ideals. They're not particularly trusting. And in other survival shows, I feel like there's everybody's paranoid. Everybody's paranoid. Do we trust this group? Do we let this person in the group? But this was a much smaller scenario where it's 4 people. It's Tess, it's Joel, it's Bill, it's Frank. And you got 2 people that are trusting because they have to be, and also because they want that social dynamic. They miss that social dynamic. But then you also have these 2 that it's very uneasy. And even at the very end, even in the letter, we were talking about the letter, and we'll get back to the letter. Bill even says, I don't like you, but that doesn't stop him from calling him a friend.
Yeah.
Because he respects him.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a very interesting dynamic the 2 have.
Honestly, It's similar to their relationship in the game, to be honest. Bill helps Joe in the game because he owes him. That's how their alliance is kind of when you meet them.
Right. See, and it's this is the kind of thing though that we see that this is expanded on.
Yeah.
And I believe Craig Mazin, who is one of the showrunners, for the show, the change in the relationship between Bill and Frank is because of, I guess, what they represent in the game may not necessarily be what they represent in the show. This is a quote. I'm not sure if this was in an interview or the podcast, because I know that they have like the podcast that they do to accompany the show.
Like, we don't have a podcast; they can just listen to ours. Like.
Yeah. No. Just listen to me, and I'll tell you what they said. That way, you don't have
to. Like, don't leave. Don't stay here.
Yeah. What is it? Is it called Talking of Us or something?
No. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Not like that. That same guy that does all the AMC ones.
Oh yeah, the talking.
Yeah, it's like, God, this guy does everything.
But the way Neil had designed Bill's character in the game, he becomes a partner to you in gameplay. Some of what he was connected specifically to the needs of the gameplay, but also he was a dark omen of what Joel could become if he didn't open his heart to somebody else. But he continues that maybe he doesn't have to be a negative or dark omen, but he's actually a sign of hope, that there's a chance, even in this world, as dangerous, as terrible as it is, there can be a positive love and successful long-term relationship. And I think that was really cool. And I think a lot of people did, because this is the 3rd week in a row, and this does not happen often for television. Normally, you have the big hype in the premiere, and and then you have some people drop off, and your loyal fans stick around, and maybe talk will get some people in. But for the 3rd week in a row, ratings have risen for The Last of Us. The show keeps getting bigger and bigger.
The game is selling like hotcakes too, because they did that remake for PS5, which I knew when they announced that it was because of the show, and it paid off. it is saying, I don't blame people. I mean, I played the first game twice. The first one. The second one one time, because the second one is an emotional journey that I don't know if I ever want to go through that. I don't even know how you guys are going to survive season 2. That's all I got to say. Season 2 is going to be rough.
Yes. I'm not going to tell anyone about what to expect. I do not spoil stuff.
No.
But I should probably tell you that if you've made it this far, we are clearly talking about the show. that we will spoil. We've already begun spoiling. If
but
sorry,
how about them ratings? Look at that.
Yeah, how about them ratings?
15 plus million viewers per episode.
Jesus. Yeah, this is the new water cooler television show. I can't.
Yeah.
What was the last TV show that did this? Because not a lot of TV shows. I mean, a lot of shows are going back to a weekly format, and now I think you're gonna see a lot more TV shows do this just so you can have this like water cooler moment. Like the only show before this, I think, was like kind of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. The Lost, I thought, was a real big water cooler. Like,
but and Lost is even further
back though. Yeah. So
maybe Mandalorian, but I don't feel like people were talking.
No, because you had to be a Star Wars fan for Mandalorian, and I work in a big corporate office, and it was like, did anybody watch Mandalorian? And they were like, shut up, Joe. Like...
But yeah, HBO, man. Shit.
So hold on, depending on where we are, because Dax, if you don't know, we work with a couple of our buddies from Australia. Okay. So depending on where we are in the world, it might already be Valentine's Day.
Oh,
but we are a few hours away from. I'm sorry, not Valentine's Day. Valentine's month, February. But,
yeah, I was like,
I'm getting really. The time zones jump really fast over on that side of the world.
I was like, how far has their time zone?
They're about 2 months ahead of us,
But Valentine's is around the corner, and I think we got the biggest meet cute of 2023, which isn't saying much because we're only in the first month. Yeah. But yes, you already talked about it, Joe, a little bit. I cut you off, but talk about meeting your future someone.
Yeah.
You don't always find who you love in a hole.
Right.
But
you're usually in a hole when you find somebody you love.
You might. You certainly don't. If you're digging a hole, you're normally digging it for yourself in these situations.
Yeah, especially when you're a prepper,
Yeah, but yeah. I didn't think he was actually gonna trap love. And Bill found a way in doing it by meeting Frank in his little foxhole there.
Yeah.
So this was an amazing moment. Did you know? Well, you guys played the game,
right?
I did not play the game.
This was not the game.
No. Well, this is
you're right.
No, but like he said, it was only an alluded to. It was like, that's my partner. Yeah. You knew about Frank. There was a partner, but like it was so vague. It was kind of hinted very heavily, but not heavily enough where it was like, oh yeah, they're lovers. We get it. It was partner could have been like, yeah, we robbed banks together. Pew, pew, pew. You know what I mean? Like, it really wasn't laid out in a path like it was here.
So, but I'm watching this, and I'm watching with Alicia. Alicia's my lady, for those who weren't watching, and she sees Frank in the hole, and she's like, oh, you can't trust him. Don't turn your back on him. Don't let him eat your food, Bill.
That's your rabbit, Bill.
Shoot him. And it's like make him take off his clothes. Check for fungus. Check the like she was definitely on Bill's side here.
She's a prep. You got to make sure you check her book bag.
I blame The Walking Dead for this. Okay, I blame her.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And then maybe about I don't know how long. I don't even know if he made it out of the hole completely yet before she said, "Wait a second, is this about to get sexy?"
That's great.
And she takes him in that he gets to the house, and he's taking the extra long shower. He's Frank is inside, he's like dusting, he's like checking the dust, running his finger along the cupboard, and Alicia's like, oh my goodness, it's about to get sexy. This is happening.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
And so it was just like this really great genuine moment that I'm watching her have. But then I started really getting into it too, because then it's about to get dinner time, and like Bill pulls out like a really, really good dinner.
Yo, I was like, oh man, I can't even make that down. I got everything I need at my fingertips.
I felt like this is really where where Ron Swanson and Bill were separated.
Yeah,
because Ron Swanson does not season his food really. No. I saw the episode. He is just meat.
Yeah,
you put it on the grill.
Potatoes. Yeah,
you put it on the grill, and it tastes like meat, and that's good enough.
Yeah,
and Bill plated his food. It looked really nice. It looked like he was trying to impress Frank.
Oh yeah.
Which leads me to my first question for my guest and co-host Joe.
Yes, sir.
If it were you, gentlemen, in the
Mm-hmm.
apocalypse, and I'm not going to say that you are trapped with the surrounding food in the environment. I don't expect you guys to go hunting for whatever's 10 miles west of Boston.
10 miles west of
Yeah,
Boston.
I don't know what animals are native, and I don't know how good either of you are with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, so or if you fish at all.
I can fish.
You can
Thank God.
fish.
I can
Okay.
fish.
But if you're trying to impress this potential life mate that you've trapped in a hole,
Mhm.
what are you serving your life mate for dinner?
Uh,
And what drink are you pairing it with?
fried eggplant and red wine Merlot.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'd
All
do
right.
some capers, and if I can catch some fish, it would have a nice fish with that.
Joe, do you cook?
Yeah, sometimes. You don't get this round. I'm not cooking.
Is that what's happening to me? I'm starting to catch up. I think. Yeah.
No, I'm hoping to go in reverse. So today I had,
Look,
had beet salad.
I can't hunt or anything, but I will say that the lockdown definitely did get me cooking, and learning how to cook did add some pounds to me. So
It happens.
Yeah. How about you, Dax? What's on the meal?
Well, if I guess there's two different plates I could go with. So if I actually have fresh dough and cheese and sauce, then I'm gonna make a pizza. Put some either chicken or pepperoni on it, and to drink, I don't know if I have whiskey.
Hey,
Hard stuff.
if Bill can have an entire gun collection, and I imagine a wine collection as well, there's no reason why you can't have your whiskey collection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the whiskey.
That was an empty town too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the mayor, the priest. He's
Oh yeah.
And
Can
then
I-
was Con Edison.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing that
Yeah.
I really liked was how they went from that to the ditch Joel and Ellie found of all the dead people to that flashback scene, and you see the lady holding the baby, and it's the same fabric, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, are we gonna see what happens to these people? Nope, you're gonna
Nope.
see a love story
romance.
that's gonna
Yeah.
break your heart.
Yeah, I was like,
It's gonna be
what
way
a
worse.
swerve. Like I was expecting. I was like, oh, maybe he was like with her, and that's his kid, and that's why he's like a prepper.
Yeah, he's just hiding. I didn't want that kid.
Yeah, and it was like, nope.
Am I messed up for thinking that I was going to see something much worse than I did in the, when Ellie was walking and Joel didn't want her to see?
No, yeah,
that's
plane.
fair.
And like I get the dramatic effect, the terribleness that was government killing perfectly healthy people just because there was no space. I understand the drama of that. It is terrible, but I was expecting like much worse. I don't know what I was expecting. My imagination was going wild. I was like, oh
yeah,
man.
you never know with The Last of Us.
I thought I was gonna see like a massive pileup of food, and I mean not food. I'm thinking about
I would make
Nita's
homemade
comment
bread
here.
with some pasta and homemade sauce and tequila. Wow.
Yes.
All right.
I don't
Right.
think I've ever had
Pizza and
tequila with
pasta.
my pasta. That's
a different one. Yeah.
that might be a game changer for me.
Yeah.
That's pretty
All
good.
right, cool. For me, you mentioned possible, fish to accompany your fried eggplant.
Yeah, I love good salmon and fried eggplant. Oh,
See, and that's the thing. I'm thinking salmon for me because it's very simple.
yeah.
Very simple, easy to make. So and if I have, if I could just do some rice on the side, assuming I have some rice, I don't know I don't know what supermarkets are like in 10 miles west of Boston. I don't know.
Damn
if
it,
they-
Boston.
I don't know if they have a
No.
Goya section. I don't know. I like my rice yellow. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. But I do
prefer
like, so some salmon with yellow rice, maybe some peppers. If I got my garden growing, maybe I could get some peppers in there. I got to check the soil. I'm afraid of saying 10 miles west of Boston because then Joe might put the picture up.
Oh, he is. It's great. Keep going. Yeah, my second thing would have been a chicken breast with like potatoes or fries.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's a usually easy.
how do you
go.
like your potatoes best?
Do them, in the oven.
I love them the Spanish way.
Yeah.
What is the Spanish way?
Yeah,
The
what is it?
Spaniard, where you cut them almost like potato chips.
Okay.
Oh
then
yeah.
and you lightly like saute them, and then you
Okay.
put lemon on top of it with basil.
Okay.
Oh, it is incredible. Yeah.
I've not.
Now I want to go back to Spain.
Like
I don't have to look at that.
Now I gotta find like the lemon flavor Lay's. Now I
Yeah.
got
This has become a cooking show.
Yeah, it could very much. Hey, look, it's not my fault. It's Bill's fault. He makes a good meal, and we're all very impressed with Oh, thank you very much. Sneaky is it Memo?
Yeah, Memo. Yeah.
Memo.
Thank you, Sneaky.
Thank you for sharing.
Just share your screen, guys. Great show. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And then Brandon, can you explain this one? Yellow rice, pollo casollo, Puerto Rican
stew chicken.
I'm assuming trying to say. I don't think he's saying queso. Could be saying queso. That could be, but I don't think so. But yellow rice to get the yellow rice. Wow, this is becoming a cooking show. It's fairly simple. It's fairly simple. You just get some. I use the powdered chicken bouillon, but you don't have to use the powdered chicken bouillon, and some sazon. You put it in the rice as it's boiling. And when you're done, so I don't know queso. That looks like.
No,
yeah, queso.
Oh wow, I'm sad because I don't know.
You're all sad.
She's
like, "What kind of Puerto Ricans are you guys?"
I'm sorry, that looked like queso to me. I was like,
it did look like queso. Just to FYI, I'm not Puerto Rican.
Let's say,
I am, but I'm a very sad.
Oh, there we go. So you got 2-1 here.
But moving on, we go from the dinner table. We do have a demand that if we're going to spend some time together, even before we get to sexy times, we get to spend some time on the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Ronstadt playing. This was a brilliant moment that, I sometimes I forget that Ron Swanson. One day, I kept calling him. I wasn't even calling him Ron Swanson at this point. I was calling him Duke Silver.
Duke Silver.
Yes, because he was playing his music, and sometimes I forget that he is a legitimate musician.
Ron Swanson, really?
Yes, Nick Offerman knows how to play. So I was wondering if that was actually him playing the piano, because he does know how to play a number. I think he even has an album.
Holy smokes! That's just like, what's that guy? New York City. He's like Walking in the Shadows. The guy Matt Berry. He's a talented singer and musician. I was like, what? And then
something about these bearded dudes that
our producer put me onto his album, and I'm going to talk about it in another
Holy
podcast.
crap! I got to look that up. That's awesome.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
Before one last thing, I hate to blow up his spot like this, but I feel like he's possibly watching. But last week, our co-host on the channel itself, Jason,
our producer, our maestro,
he's our producer. But he also, had he been here today, he said that he said it's a good thing I'm not on the show today because I would have had chicken nuggets. I guess I would have.
That was great. Yeah.
And I just wanted to put that out there anyway. It might be a little embarrassing for him. I'm sorry, Jason, but I thought that was a great answer.
It was. I want some chicken nuggies, man.
That's right.
What do you guys think Joe would serve?
Man, look, him and Tess were having just a romantic time of beef jerkies. Just sitting to themselves with their lady. They could have a Lady in the Tramp moment with the beef jerky. So we see them on the piano. We see them have this really romantic episode. A lot of time is being spent on these two, and it's groundbreaking. This groundbreaking moment in television, because I normally, to see a romantic moment between a gay couple, you actually have to be watching a show about gay people.
Mm-hmm.
That's normally, it's a sad truth, but it's a truth. You got to watch Will and Grace. You got to watch Pose. You've got to watch, you have to watch shows catered to that demographic, it seems, in order to see love be love between
Sure.
same-sex couples. And it is so refreshing to be able to see just this very romantic scene between these two, and it's like, and it wasn't oh man, like, it was so real because, like, Nick Offerman is he's not necessarily a virgin. He has had one partner. Bill's had one partner in the show. It was a woman, and I don't know if this being his first gay experience doesn't mean that he wasn't gay prior, but he may have been closeted, and maybe after the apocalypse, not even thinking you're going to meet anyone to begin with, but like, who are you going to come out to? So he has this moment that's just very vulnerable and beautiful, and I just applaud. Oof, and neither of the creators of the show are gay either, but that's the thing about,
and neither are the actors.
No, the actors aren't gay. This was just a relationship.
Yeah.
And you can relate to that, because I damn sure related to it. Just watching this happen, and it was beautiful. And kudos to everyone, the cast, the crew, for putting this scene together.
Oh, it was so well done. And something in the game is there are a lot more same-sex relationships that come up. And I don't want to spoil things for the show, but like, obviously they're going to touch on some other characters' sexual orientation as well. Right. And yeah, it was just really beautifully well done. I also love that Frank's just like, can you go take a shower and then meet me in the bathroom?
Yes.
That
was so great. That was just so real.
Oh yeah, he was the dom in the relationship. It's you got Big Bill with his gun and his tools and everything, and
just a shy little boy.
But he's a shy. He is the submissive in this relationship.
Like the little hair flip at dinner too caught me. I was just like, oh, this is gonna get like your partner would say, like, oh yeah, this is sexy time is about to happen here.
No,
great chemistry.
I think my favorite part was him saying, "I'm not a whore."
It's like, listen, I will F for food, but I'm not a whore. All right.
It's like, hey,
I am dying for something to eat, and I will suck it to get some rabbit.
Look, Bill was this close to having his first experience, and he got it. But even before it happens, it's like, if this is going to happen, I'm gonna be staying for a couple more days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're against this, I will just roll out of bed right now. Maybe take some of your wine with me and roll out.
It's a little bit of rabbit.
Yes, it was really cool. Just seeing, there was humor. There was, I think sometimes sex is portrayed in TV as, maybe too sexy, and there's not enough portrayals of not shame, but just awkwardness.
Awkwardness.
Yeah, just awkwardness, and a little bit of comedy, and it's really cool to see that portrayal as well.
I love this comment, if you don't mind, really.
Go ahead, share.
It's the end of the world. You got to do what you got to do to eat.
Hey,
I mean, you could either kill someone or have sex with them for food, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of the two.
Hey, you know what? And the sex is, for a meaningful relationship, it can't just be sex. And we saw that this relationship lasted the long haul.
Oh yeah,
blossom. It was up.
And that was another difference from
Yes. Before we move on to the end of their relationship, I do want to jump back, because we started a segment, and I do want to keep it going, and it has nothing to do with their relationship. It is our gross out moment of the week. Joe, can you set this?
Beautiful.
All right, are we ready? Are we ready for it?
Yeah, I'm
Everybody
gonna have to
shield your
avert my
eyes if
eyes
you're not
again
ready.
because that bugged me out. Are you ready?
Here we
We're-
go.
let's-
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Oh,
There.
yeah.
Wow!
Oh, yeah.
Wow! Ugh!
All right.
Yeah,
All
that was
right.
tough.
I love this scene because for someone who's played the games, I felt like it's touching on Ellie's dark side. That I
Yeah.
don't know if we're really going to see this much this season, but next season you will definitely probably see more of. But
Look,
Very ominous.
Alicia, I should just get her on the show because I'm mentioning her comments. But she's watching right next to me, and she's like, "Oh, she's a little fight whore."
Pizza, fuck it.
We're done with the food, but thank you. Sneaky.
You should have subscribed.
Although, if you go back to his eye, there was some mushroom on this.
Yeah, there
guy's
was.
face.
It was.
You
And
know,
bean
so
sprouts.
maybe that reminds you of the pizza.
Yeah,
I
maybe,
apologize,
maybe.
Sneaky.
yeah, are people going to still have mushrooms on their pizza after this show?
I don't know. Are people still gonna have pizza after this show?
Oh, I'm still having pizza. I don't know.
It's like I'm just gonna get
Pizza,
infected.
bagels, and bread. You gotta
I'm
stay
gonna
away.
eat the bread. You can't stop me.
Oh
Oh,
man.
I would definitely be affected.
So wait, does that mean Joel and everybody else are like carb free? Is that why they
That's
survive?
exactly what that means.
Well, they
Or-
they narrowly missed being infected in the first episode because he didn't get the cake.
Yeah.
They didn't have the
Yeah.
pancake mix.
He
and
didn't
this
have
is
the
something-
biscuits.
They narrowly missed being infected.
Yeah.
So I think this is so I'm gonna thank Nita for this question right here.
Why did she? cut
Why did she cut the eye? Now there could be a couple of answers to this. It could be because she's a fight whore, as I mentioned. Ellie just might be a bit of a freak. Dax mentioned this as well, that we may be seeing the beginnings of a possible dark side. And it also could be that she hasn't had too much experience. Ellie hasn't had too much experience with the infected. We got to see that the infected don't really bleed out. The fungus kind of puppets their bodies, and so they kind of stays all inside of the body because I guess you need it to function.
Yeah.
So it doesn't escape. So maybe she just wanted to see if it's true. There's a lot that Ellie is discovering about the world.
I think they changed the infected in the show versus the game. I think in the game they were a little more spore-like, which I don't know if they're gonna do or change up in the show. Because what you saw with Tess when the infected kissed her, kind of
Yes,
like
which won our gross out moment.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, that was even I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, there was ugh.
That wasn't in the game.
No. But yeah, this one is kind of like it is a symbiosis that lives in it.
Yeah.
And then they can pass it to each other.
I think
Yeah.
because the makers of the show were also involved in Chernobyl,
Mhm.
they really didn't want to do the gas masks again.
Yeah.
It hides too much of the face, and we need these actors to express themselves, and they're doing
That's
such a great job expressing themselves. And we have such a good looking cast.
Yeah.
Despite the bruises and the dirt and the mushrooms, and
I'm intrigued by that because there are major levels in I feel like in the first game and definitely in the second game where they have to go through environments that are spore heavy. So I don't know if that's going to change throughout the show. We'll see.
I think what we'll see, and I'm just venturing a guess, is that we'll see some more of those kind of veiny fungus, just kind of outstretched lines on the floor that might have to take the place of the spores.
Yeah.
But
the whole alert system that which was I don't think that was in the game.
No.
I was like, I don't remember that because it would have been way harder. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh no.
You step on a branch. Yeah.
Yeah, you're screwed, right?
I just watched, and it's kind of the only creeper scene. We did get more action in the show, but from Raiders, that felt like a tease.
Yeah,
that felt like a tease.
First introduction of the Raiders / or Hunters in the show so far.
So it's we had some really cool moments there. I definitely like the flamethrower, which I don't have a picture of.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
was great.
But that
10
was
miles west of home.
phenomenal.
What,
I
what,
was getting I was getting so angry at Frank because I
why?
felt like Frank got Bill shot.
I feel like Bill got himself. He got himself shot. Why are you out in the middle of the street with white on, snipes from the bush or something? Like as the gamer me was like, you have not played the game. That's not how you shoot in Last of Us. I'll tell you right now. You ain't you're
No,
gonna be the
well,
Last of Us.
maybe this is the precursor of like the Fortnite no scope shooting
Oh
because he had a sniper rifle,
yeah,
but he
He
was
didn't
really
use it.
just. I don't even know if he was gazing through it. He was very confident.
oh
And
yeah.
he was just no scoping everybody.
Which is fair.
Uh,
Like if it happens to you in the middle of the night where you're sleeping, I've been in a situation in this
Yeah.
crazy part of Canada that I live in where
I
someone
was
knocked
gonna say, like, you got spores coming at you out there.
like someone's knocked at our door at 2 a.m. My wife's shaking me awake. I'm like, ah. I'm just listening to them banging on the door, and I'm just like trying to think, is it 1 or 2 people? And I'm like, who is it? Like, it was just some drunk person. But yeah, something bad goes on at late night.
He's
You
like,
wake
you
up.
got any rabbit?
Yeah. But Bill reacted, went out there, started shooting, and it was a good tease. You think like, oh no, this is where Frank dies, something's gonna bad. But I just love that it subverts your expectations with these characters. Like you just don't know where it was gonna go. The whole time you're like, is this where something bad happens? No, okay. But it's like life.
Yeah.
It's just a very, very somber life thing that happens to them.
right.
It's beautiful and it's painful, but it comes all around.
I do see. I feel like you're looking at the comments, Joe. We'll get to it. But the from that scene, we do move into, I guess, the later stages of the relationship. We got some gray hair. Frank's in a wheelchair. It's very sad because you could see that Frank's not the man he used to be, not just because he's like hurt. Like,
Right.
He, of the two of them, he was the more vibrant, friendly one. He's the one who's changing the boutiques around and making the town look like a town, even though they have no neighbors.
Right.
It is it was very sad to see Frank in this state. We spent so much time getting to know the couple, a couple that we didn't really know in the game. But we spend almost the entire episode with them. We've seen them have dinner parties, and that was that was Frank's doing. We the development of the code that Bill ends up using, that was Frank's idea, at least in the show. It's so seeing him unable to paint some of his paintings, you could see that it was starting to like slide a little bit. My guess is because Nita had asked a question, I think the creators left it a bit ambiguous by just hinting that there's no MRI machines, there's no traveling doctor, and there wasn't a cure even before the world turned tits up. And that is I'm assuming that it was MS.
Oh yeah, I was thinking MS or ALS.
Could either one. I think by maybe one, because there's no doctors, no MRI machine, anything like that. They weren't maybe ready to be the ones to diagnose themselves anyway. They themselves were probably just guessing.
Right.
But whether it's ALS or MS, it's something that I think by not naming it specifically, it allows, I guess, people to maybe feel represented. No matter what your personal struggle is, we see, we see you, and it can be scary, it could be sad, but even then, we see that Frank has his partner who's with him the whole time.
Yeah. Even
And,
after he was all sick, he stayed with him the whole time.
Stayed with him the whole time. And like, really, what kind of asshole would you be?
Man, you sick? I'm gonna put you back in the hole.
What kind of asshole would? But it goes back to what the creators was saying about being able to find long-lasting love. And I don't think when you say the words Dex, Dex, you mentioned your wife. When you say the vows and the till death do us part, we never actually want to think about the death part.
No, no one does.
We don't want to think about what happens when for better or for worse, for sicker or for poorer. We hope to just kind of enjoy the days for as long as we can. We don't really want to think about the what happens towards the end. It could be scary, it could be sad, and it's definitely heartbreaking. And and we've all lost family. We're not strangers to loss. Also, thankfully, all of our significant others are healthy, but we've all experienced loss, and so we're not strangers to it. So it was heartbreaking, but also the way that it ended, it ended somehow managed to end as beautifully as it began.
Yep. Bill decided to go with Frank.
Yeah, we got a wedding.
We got a wedding. They had their last perfect day together.
Yes.
And yeah, it was beautiful. And when we get to the latter part, there's something I want to touch upon on there. But
yeah,
the Last of Us game franchise, especially with the creators, and this is one of the things that I almost didn't want to make me watch the show. Is like one of the creators was like, "This is one of the greatest video game stories of all time," and I was like, calm down, all right? like it's good, all right? In my opinion, Metal Gear Solid, that's a better story franchise. But everyone has a different story franchise. You might think Final Fantasy or Zelda,
Final Fantasy 10 or Dakota.
Everyone has a personal.
I just know it's not Kingdom Hearts.
No,
and
it's not Street Fighter. That's for sure.
But it's a great story. It's a great story, and The Last of Us is all about relationships. It's all about dealing with what happens when those relationships end or if they change.
Yes,
and that's something I'm kind of excited to see with this show, because as a fan of the game, where it's going to go, and like some people might not be ready for that. Some people might, because a lot of people, television has just changed throughout the years of how it does stories and how it ends. So Last of Us as a game kind of did like a Sopranos kind of ending in a game format, and I was like, whoa, what the hell, this is crazy. So I'm wondering if are we gonna get the same thing with the show? We don't know.
I have no clue what to expect.
Yeah.
And the creators are doing an excellent job of playing off of the game, building on top of the game, adding layers that weren't there before.
As long as they don't do what they did with Walking Dead, because that drove me nuts, because they just kept changing things, and it drove me nuts. But right now, so far so good.
Far so good. 3 episodes in, not mad.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like I said, this episode was the won me over. Like I did not want to watch the show. My wife was like, "Oh, do you want to check it out?" I was like, "All right, sure." And I watched the first episode. I was like, "Oh, it's good, very well done." But I know where it's gonna go. Episode 3 was like, "Oh, you know where it's gonna go? I'm about to break your heart." And I'm like, "Whoa!"
I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, I didn't ask for this, but also that was beautiful. Good
I just wanted to watch a zombie show with my wife.
I want to watch the murder kid kill the zombie.
The murder kid.
Yeah,
I love it. Fight horn murder kid. That's gonna be the
wow, that's
a new shirt right there.
Yeah.
We
moving on.
So yes, we have this beautiful dinner. We have another classic wine pairing, except this time with an overdose of I don't know if it's just painkiller, muscle relaxer, maybe some Altoids. Who knows?
It's Quaaludes. Were Quaaludes a thing in 2003?
They were not. I've done the research because of other topical things from our past.
That would have been one hell of a way to go.
But oh man, the Quaaludes. I'm sorry, you lost me there, man. You got me.
They threw him off. Yeah.
I'll catch up. So yeah, Bill and Frank have their last thing together with Frank saying that this is the way he wants to go out. He doesn't want to suffer no more. He wants a nice day with Bill. And at the end, he wants to put all the pills of the medication he's been taking into his wine. and fall asleep in his lover's arms. But what a twist! Bill downs the entire bottle of wine, and
Yeah.
Frank's like, "Was there pills in that wine?" And he was like, "Yes." And for one moment, Frank is upset,
Yeah.
and then he's just like, "You know what? This is the most romantic thing. So we're gonna go together. Fine."
I think also like it's when it comes to taking your own life, it's a very touchy subject that I really don't want to spend too much time on here.
That's fair.
I don't want to alienate anybody. But I appreciate the amount of respect that was shown to Bill for being allowed to make his own choice. You know, people feel the way they'd feel about it. I have my own feelings about it. It's hard when you know people who've taken their own lives. And I'm right now, this 50 minutes that we're on right now and going on, judgment free. We're not talking about it. That's not what this show is about. But I do appreciate the amount of respect that it gave, because it wasn't, even though it was heartbreaking for us, it looked like Bill was very confident in his choice. Both of them were very confident in their choice.
It definitely did.
And you know what? I'm going to counter that Romeo and Juliet comment, because Romeo and Juliet had a lot of confusion. You know, there was a fake suicide, and then not knowing about that, Juliet didn't really know what she was doing, and then because, you know, even, you know, but I'm glad you mentioned Romeo and Juliet, because Bill says that this is not some sort of tragic Shakespearean tragedy. You know, it's not a tragedy. I am happy. I am happy in this moment. I am content. I was given purpose. You were my purpose. And now that my job is done, you know, I can rest. I can rest too.
Yeah.
And
it's beautiful.
That was so cool. I loved it. I hated seeing them go, but I loved it.
Yeah, that was my biggest disappointment, was like, all right, Nick Offerman, woo, we're gonna get Ron Swanson up in here. And then it was like, yeah, we're gonna just, you know, have this little capsule.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. One and done, baby. I was like,
but what a way to go!
No,
one and done, and it was the best episode to me personally. It was,
but like he's barely in the game. When I look back at things, he
was in this episode longer than he was in the game.
Yeah, like he's barely in the game. So his whole job in the game was to supply Joe and Ellie on their journey, and he still did it, but he was
dead.
Yeah. So.
Mission complete.
So mission complete, literally.
So
he does his last mission.
Can we talk about this letter?
We're gonna move on to the letter, because you know, we say goodnight to our favorite couple.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
Finally, Joel and Ellie, who've just been out, you know, just carving the eyebrows of zombies and looking at, you know, corpses and talking about the environment, which Ellie really hasn't seen much of. You know, first time in the woods, first time, I don't know, in a supermarket, I don't know, but
first time 10 miles from Boston.
Yeah,
but she
first time looking at a Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cabinet list.
Very important.
Very important. She's a Melina fan.
Yes. Yes, legends of Mortal Kombat have made it decades across the apocalypse. It's in the history books of Fedra.
I would do
it. So we go, and they make it to the house, and it looks like Joel is about to walk in. That moment is interrupted by the door slamming shut by a gust of wind. But Ellie has already found a letter. Dax, you know, you mentioned wanting to talk about the letter. Tell me about the letter.
There have been a few moments that come to mind while watching the show where I felt like I was playing the game. And one of the first moments was in the first episode when Joe and Tess entered the building, and they dropped their backpacks on the ground to get stuff out. And I was like, holy crap, that's all you do in the game. You drop your backpack, you go in there, you make a brick, you tape scissors to it. I don't know. That's like, I'm still waiting for that to happen in the show. If that happened, then this is the greatest show ever. But anyway.
Look, Castlevania gave us wall chicken. You know, so if we can have that represented, Maybe we can get taping a brick.
Yeah, with scissors or something, some crazy contraption. But anyway, the letters is like I was touching upon in the video game itself is a very major like side story thing in the game. And like I can't remember maybe the Resident Evil franchise doing it as good as what Last of Us did with the letters you would come across. And the letters would be about stuff that happened in the world or relationships. And so when that letter by Bill was found by Ellie, especially when she read it, it was just like, oh wow, this is totally like a letter you would find in the game. You would find letters. It's like a Fallout situation. You'll find these corpses and you find these letters and you find out what happened. And similar in the game where you find a letter from Frank to Bill. You find Frank's corpse hanging in an apartment. And what's also great is that they don't show their bodies. Joel never opens the door. All we're left with is that shot of the window, which was, I think some people were saying was kind of a reference to the loading screen from the first game, which I was like, oh, I guess it's kind of a stretch, but all right. But yeah, the letter was just a great touch,
Yes.
Like it was just something directly from the game. I hope we see more of it. But if we don't, hey, we got it, and it was great.
I'm hoping to experience more. We've seen, I guess, when the infected were chasing them in the museum, right, and the camera zoomed in on Joel, so we couldn't see the clicker,
right,
before panning back out and hearing the clicks get louder. And it's nice to get just like little moments that feel like the game, because I guess that's what the conversation surrounding video game adaptations is. When you're watching it, you're no longer in control. There's no way to get you to feel like the game. And I feel like Last of Us has done a great job of trying to make you feel those feelings. And again, kudos to them for doing that.
It's not overdone like the Doom first person view or the Halo first person view.
Yeah.
It's very, if it works, it works. I was kind of bothered he had the rifle for a while. I was like, I never had no rifle to begin the game.
Yeah.
I was like, and then he hides it. I'm like, all right. But like one thing, and we touched upon about the hunters and raiders in that flashback scene. And I was just thinking like, yeah, we haven't come across that in the game. You need that for gameplay. So I think next episode is going to be a very big hunter and raider introduction, so
right.
That's something that's been very missing. That's a very major danger and faction of the Last of Us franchise, is coming across other humans that are desperate, that will do whatever it takes. They're not going to have sex with you. I mean, if they do, it's it's not going to be nice, but
yeah,
it's not going to be for food, that's for sure. Ain't no rabbit balls here.
So I think from the next episode, we're going to start meeting the ugly side of the people that are out there.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely feel like we've had a calm, we got an introduction to the characters, we got an introduction to the dangers that are out there. We've seen an introduction to the world, and I guess now we're going to maybe get an introduction to the world's, dangers, the other inhabitants of the world.
Yeah.
Before they go out there, though,
to 10 miles west of Boston.
well, while we're still there, while we're still 10 miles west of Boston, because they haven't left yet, we do get to see them wandering around. It's like after we've moved past this point of, all right, Bill's dead. We've read his letter. I may have had a little cry about it. It's time to stock up and get our car so I could go see my brother.
Right.
Which, I'm so grateful you said it out loud, because I think we get so invested in these stories that we kind of forgot what he was going to do in the first place.
Yeah. Well, he was trying to see Bill to find out about if he knew anything about the Fireflies. Bill's unfortunately gone, so the next thing is to find his brother, who's part of the Fireflies or works for them.
But that was his original mission. Like he was only doing this, getting Ellie to the Firefly thing to get a car battery.
Right.
It's like so he could go find his brother who hasn't reported back.
Yeah.
So it was a nice reminder. It's like, oh yeah, he does have a brother. Right.
Remember that guy?
Completely forgot about that. Right. Haven't seen him in a while.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Remember the guy that played Ghost Rider from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes.
That's
Gabriel Luna.
Yeah.
It's pretty great though.
Yes, I was happy to see him. It's like he went from Ghost Rider to Terminator to So now he gets to be here in The Last of Us. Look, I don't know what his career is going to bring him, but I know he'll be able to do a lot of signings at sci-fi and comic book conventions.
Yeah, there you go.
He's good. He's good. Yeah.
I was a forgettable Terminator. Yay!
Yeah, I just watched that recently. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I wanted a Dark Fate after watching that.
Oh wow! Ouch.
So
anyway,
but they're there. They're still there. They're scrounging up their stuff. You know, when is it appropriate for Ellie to have a gun? She has her gun.
yeah.
But Joel is very against it, and I don't know why. We've brought up I feel like we bring up The Walking Dead every episode. It's hard not to make comparisons.
Yeah.
But you know, Laurie and Rick having the argument of when's it all right for Carl to have a gun.
Carl.
Yeah. He's got to learn how to shoot.
Yeah.
He's got to protect himself.
Well, maybe Joel thinks if she has a gun, then they'll see her more as a threat and they'll shoot her, or she'll hurt herself.
Or maybe they're afraid that she'll shoot them.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't trust her. And it's
Yeah.
like, just stay out of trouble. No, you don't get a gun.
Well, she stole a gun now. She stole a gun.
It's like you thought this disease came from monkeys. No, you don't get to have a gun.
Yeah, right.
But it's funny, she blames the school system, which is like, hey, I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, true. Very true.
What can you do? So but while they're there, you know, they're getting everything they need. She does have a gun now. He gets his car. He can drive now. And Ellie, who just can't keep her hands to her damn self. Like, she agreed that what he says goes, what Joel says goes, and she still
the three rules.
herself.
The 3 rules. That's a key thing from the game too. I'm glad they brought that around too. Can't remember them, but it was pretty much just listen. Yeah, I can't remember what 3 rules were, but it was pretty much just listen to Joel, whatever he says.
I think it was fuck around, find out, and listen to what I say.
Don't show your stupid arm bite.
Right.
But you know, so they're in the car. She goes, and into the glove compartment finds a tape, which I thought was weird because the world ended in like 2003 for them. So I feel like I don't. Well, this is an old classic car, so I'm gonna let that be the reason why. I was like, hey, you guys had CDs at this point. You could have.
How does Ellie know what cassette tape? That's another.
Yeah.
Look, as people who grew up we grew up with the internet. You know, we didn't grow up with the internet. You know, we're older gentlemen. We are men of class and distinguished. We're distinguished men who had the internet.
Yes.
I had dial-up to us in maybe our teens.
Yeah, I had the dial-up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I went on the Fight Club forums.
But we've also seen YouTube videos of, like, you know, kids trying out like cassettes, and it wasn't easy for them to put in a cassette in a tape deck. Very easy. Like, what do you do with this? Yeah. And Ellie got it right in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Didn't even jostle it. Just click. Like, it was never that easy even for me to like. It's like, is it facing the right way? She didn't like flip it upside down.
No, nothing. Yeah.
Just like,
she was
click.
like bango.
And Linda Ronstadt playing, just queued up perfectly, which will probably get a cinema sin. But it'll, you know, just had the song queued up perfectly, and coincidentally the same song that was being played on the piano. But enough about them. I want to know if Ellie got into your car. And mind you, the world ended in 2003 in this parallel universe. If they got into your classic Chevy, whatever vehicle it was, I wasn't paying that much attention.
It was a Ford Bronco, wasn't it?
And you know, and they reached and pulled out a tape deck and played the song that you just happen to, I guess, love most. You know, which song would be in your which album would be in your tape deck, and which song would play? Dax, you want to start? Do you have one? I hope Joe has one, because he also has a music podcast.
Yeah, I've got one.
I'm gonna keep a Matrix thing up in here. It's probably gonna be the Matrix album because it did come out in 1999,
Oh, there you
and
go.
it's gonna be Minefield by Hive.
Okay.
That song's a
Wow.
banger.
Okay. I like
So
it. I like it. Joe, Music Man.
mine's gonna be Sting, Brand New Day. That came out in
Nice.
2000. That was my anthem of that year, and I even made it my ringtone. So when my ex called me, every 5 seconds, my friends were like, "Oh my god, I hate that song now."
So
what about you, Lewis?
Yeah, what's yours?
So I was laughing the entire time as I was thinking about this. I came up with the question, but it was all jokes in my head as I'm voting. Because like
They're coming to take me away, haha. That's all.
no. Here's the thing. I feel like in shows like this, it always ends with some sort of like a slower song, classic rock, maybe some folk, something to fit the tone. And I'm like, wow, I really don't listen to that at all.
Yeah.
And like in the early 2000s, I was still very big into my hip hop phase, and not a phase because I still like hip hop. I just don't like a lot of today's artists. It's harder for me to find a musician, a rapper that I can relate to. But I think at the time I was probably listening to a Jay-Z album, but and so I'm imagining Ellie like pulling out Jay-Z's The Blueprint and popping it in the tape deck.
She's
Amazing.
like,
or maybe this is 2001. Was Kanye out at the time?
2003.
Right. So Kanye's album might have come out by then, and I'm trying to be like, I'm picturing Joel like getting ready to like smack her hand, like stop playing with the tape deck, and then like Through the Wire comes on, Through the Wire, and just like, oh wait, no, this is Kanye. Like, hold on, I changed my mind. Let Kanye play. But if final choice, it's probably gonna be the Batman Forever.
Oh no!
with Seal, Kiss from a Rose.
That would have been my second choice. God, I love that song. That would have been my second song. That's my go-to karaoke song always.
Oh my god!
Seal, Kiss from a Rose. That's what I'm going with. I can already picture Bill just on the piano. Frank looks like a musician. He could be on the flute.
Nita says, "Bring Me Back to Life" by Evanescence. Hell yeah!
Here. I might have Bring Me Back to Life by Evanescence.
That was beautiful. Yes.
And then we got the 3 rules. The 3 rules.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Don't show your arm. Do what he says without question, and never bring up the death of their friend Tess.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, yeah,
yes. Those are the 3 rules.
All right, Nita.
And apparently don't touch and don't touch the tape deck. Apparently, don't touch the radio.
Don't touch
driver's
the radio.
choice what the radio is. I'm the driver.
Right. Yep. It's my choice.
Oh, this has been such a great time looking over this, and I'm happy to say that even though we're past an hour, we did not go past the time of the show, which I think was an hour and 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's round up real quick. Bye, guys.
So I do want to point out that if you're looking at Dax's tag right there, you can see that you can find him at Last Respawn. That is his Twitter channel. You could also find him on I'm sorry, not Twitter channel, his Twitch channel. Yeah. Although that is his handle on Twitter.
You mind if I do the shameless plug?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. First off, thank you so much for having me on. This was a delight. Let me know if you ever want to play again. Play again. Want me on?
Yeah. Are we gonna play piano together?
Yeah. If you guys are interested, I host a late night video game show on Twitch. I do it at least 3 nights a week. I'll be live tomorrow night. I'm doing a sci-fi season, hence the sci-fi Matrix-like set of
I was getting that.
Yeah, I see it. I can.
And it's all late night style. So we play up to 3 different games. Have people on as special guests, and I do musical performances of myself right now until I can find other people that want to be on. So yeah, that's the Last Respawn show on Twitch. Anything Last Respawn you can find me on. And yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
No, thank you for being here. I was previously invited for a game of Jackbox, which one day I will take you up on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to download Twitch myself,
Mm,
so that I can play. I think we have the camera set up. We have the little Twitch adapter.
there
Um,
you go.
yeah, so I should be able to join you. Because I have only recently discovered Jackbox gaming, and it's like, yes, I am interested.
If
I
you if you get to Jackbox, look up what the dub. That's the next best thing where you literally dub movie scenes, and that is
That's
just
probably a lot of fun.
that is a lot of fun.
no, the channel's a big party, and so I do invite you all to check out Last Respawn channel on Twitch and check out my buddy on all of the social medias. Of
Thank you
course,
so
you can
much.
find us here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. However you're following us, you're already doing it. But if you, or at least I hope so. If you're
But if you're
not,
new,
now's the time to hit the
yeah,
like button, the subscribe button, all the buttons. You know what the buttons do, and you know how it helps us out. The
yeah.
algorithm is like a fungus,
It's
and
a fickle
and I
bitch,
hope it
as
grows
were.
on you.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Dax, for joining us. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Joe, always for being here with me. Jason, looking forward to seeing you soon. Get well better. Get well better.
Get
Get better
well
soon,
better.
buddy.
Yeah.
And yeah, check us out at the Spectrum Sanctorum on all of our channels. Thank you, and see you next week. Goodbye.